Spencer had been named Newark's official city historian, tasked with preparing the 2016 celebrations to mark the city's 350th anniversary. Heisler says he had one characteristic trait generally not associated with historians. Everything Clement did was about the future, she said. He was always brainstorming, striving to connect people to make a difference. He never stopped looking forward, searching for ways to make things better. He was full of fun, full of fire, resolved to establish a new era of growth in humans and in the city. I believe in the city and the people he loved. He was a genteel man who taught just as much with his actions as he did in the lecture hall. I only got 12 years with him, but he will always want me to be better and to do more. During the first workload on our own and work for a brighter future.
And
that was a lovely article.
And let's play. I think I have a special song here. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, let's play this song. See if we can get this one up. There we go. This is.
This was 2 years ago. 2 years ago? Almost 2 years ago. Where my neighbors were murdered in their home. And the murderer has been found not guilty by reason of insanity.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
So
This is NewJersey.com, I guess, what, Star Ledger.
yeah, so he's gonna go to like a madhouse or something.
Madhouse.
That's what we
It's
call
a madhouse.
That's what we call it in Trinidad, the madhouse. you know.
This is really a mess. Do you want me to read this article? Can you believe this?
Yeah.
So, New Jersey man found not guilty by reason of insanity for killing foster relatives and then throwing a party. You know about the story?
Yeah.
Okay. In their evaluations of Dwayne Florney on charges he stabbed 2 foster relatives to death inside of his Maplewood home, hid the bodies, and then invited friends over for a party, 2 psychiatrists came to the same conclusion. Florney was legally insane at the time of the murders. Based on the doctor's findings, the Superior Court judge last week found Florney, 32, not guilty by reason of insanity in the March 2012 killing of Brian Florney and his mother, Sandra. The October 29th decision issued by Judge Joseph V. Isabella refers to the victims as Florney's foster grandfather and grandmother. He didn't know that they were foster parents until after they were dead.
Oh, he didn't know that?
No.
Wow.
There is no factual dispute as to whether, or the father was a foster because there was no mother involved in the story. There's no factual dispute as to whether the defendant was insane at the time he committed the criminal offenses that are the subject of the present indictment, Isabella wrote in his decision, adding that both doctors unequivocally agree that the defendant was insane at the time of the offense. One of the doctors performed his evaluation on behalf of the defense, and the other doctor was working for the prosecutors, the decision states.
Wow.
Isabella, a Hudson County judge, ordered Florney to be committed to the Anne Klein Forensic Center, a state psychiatric hospital, or madhouse as you would say, in Ewing for a period not to exceed 86 and a half years, according to the judge's order. That time period represents the maximum amount allowed for charges against Florney. When a defendant is found not guilty by reason of insanity, he is incarcerated in a psychiatric facility until a judge concludes that he should be released, said Catherine Carter, spokeswoman, for the Essex County.
So does that mean he can get out before 86 and a half years?
A defendant's mental health condition is then examined at periodic hearings. Carter said if a judge decides he is no longer a threat to himself or others, he could be released. In regard to the Florney's decision, Carter said in an email, "We were reviewing the ruling. However, the evaluations done by the psychiatrist for both the prosecution and the defense agreed that this defendant, Dwayne Florney, was legally insane at the time the victims were killed." His attorney, Olubukola Adetula, said that the given doctor's evaluations, the judge's ruling represents the appropriate decision in the case. It was obviously a very sad set of circumstances, adding to that clearly we had some serious medical issues played out here with my client at the time the incident happened. On March 10th, 2012, the prosecutors said that Dwayne Florney stabbed 76-year-old Sandra Florney with a kitchen knife, placed her body in the trunk of a vehicle in the garage. When Brian Florney came home, 52, Dwayne stabbed him and hid the body on the sun porch. Florney then invited friends over for a party. The next day, Florney left the house in Brian Florney's car, the prosecutor said. He was arrested at the home of a female friend in Phillipsburg 2 days later. Authorities realized something was wrong when Brian didn't show up for work as an investigator at the Union County Public Defender's Office. His coworkers became concerned and called Maplewood Police, suggesting officers make a welfare check at the family's Northview Terrace home. The case was transferred to Hudson County because a relative of the victims and Fulorney works for the court system in Essex County. According to the judge's decision, Fulorney said he was hearing voices in his head on the day of the murders. Fulorney explained to the doctor that he loved his father, but he couldn't stop himself from stabbing him. The defendant couldn't stop stabbing him because he was so overwhelmed on the day of the murders and could not avoid the voices in his head. Defendant explained he tried to fight the voices while he was stabbing his father, but he couldn't. The voices in his head had taken over and kept telling him, "Don't stop, don't stop." In regard to inviting people over the house afterward, Fulorney said he wanted to forget about what happened and felt he could do this by having a party. The defendant proceeded to invite around 20 people to come to the house where the defendant had just committed the murders. The defendant then drank a lot, took his father's car, and drove his girlfriend's house. More than 20 years ago, Fulorney was apparently taken into care of the two victims. More than 20 years ago, Fulorney was apparently taken into the care of the two victims, and raised as their own, according to a previous Star Ledger. Morton have stated that Fulorney was placed in the custody of Smith's sister when he was a child, and the report states Jacqueline Smith said was Fulorney's girlfriend at the time, according to the report. Wow.
I mean, that is like, man.
Wow.
Something was actually wrong with the guy. If the prosecutor and the defense attorney found him insane, but didn't even know he was sick.
The family
didn't even know he was sick.
There was something, they knew that something was wrong with him. Well, I mean, I never talked to the grandmother about him, but I did talk to his dad about him before.
And they kind of knew something was wrong with him?
I think the dad pretty much just...
Yeah, he's
and what's interesting is because, why we haven't heard anything about this until today. At least I hadn't, the people I know, particularly my child, is up on everything. So, we've heard all kinds of rumors and about alleged abuse of this kid. But what was interesting
prior to him being in foster home, prior to coming to Maplewood.
when he lived in that house, he graduated from Columbia High School. But there seems like there were a number of events that just that happened to this kid that changed his entire disposition.